Hey everybody, happy Monday.
Happy Monday, everyone. All right, truth be told, this is now the second time we're shooting this video. We just shot this entire video with no audio, so we're gonna go through and do it all again for you. It's been a while since we've done the Monday video, so I guess we're gonna do this multiple times. Today's video is about guppies. It's about fish that you can keep with your guppies. Now, I did an entire species profile on the guppy. I'm gonna put that in the upper right-hand corner, as well as in the description below if you want more information on how to care for and how to breed guppies. But in this video, we're going to be talking about fish that you can keep with guppies that do well in guppy water parameters. We keep our guppies around a pH of 8 to 8.2. Our GH and KH are around a 10. I'm also assuming, we are assuming, that you're going to be keeping your guppies in at least a 10-gallon or greater. So the fish that we're recommending are fish that we have kept with guppies. We've had success doing so, and we've kept those fish in those water parameters. Whew. All that being said, what do we got?
Well, I think we should start at the bottom of the tank. That's always fun. And great choices would be Corys, even Pygmy Corys, and Kuhli Loaches. They're all super fun at the bottom of the tank. They give you a lot of activity and a lot of goofball activity.
Absolutely. Now the Pygmy Corys are going to be great if you are keeping your guppies in a 10-gallon. If you're moving up to that 20-gallon or greater, then your standard Cory Cats would be an option, as well as your Kuhli Loaches. By the way, before I forget, we've done a ton of species profiles on a lot of the fish that we're going to mention today. They will be in the description below if you want more information on the fish that we're talking about in this video. So yeah, those are great options. The other option would be, if you want scavenger type fish, maybe a clown pleco. Take care of a little bit of algae, nice for that 10-gallon tank or greater. If you've got a larger tank, like a 20-gallon or more, the Bristlenose Pleco works just fine. I guess we can't forget about our mystery snails. Nope. Mystery snails would be perfectly fine in a 10-gallon or greater. They can go lower, but again, we're trying to keep our guppies in at least 10 gallons. So multiple mystery snails or nearite snails would work just fine as well.
But if you are having, with the guppies, you have a lot of color. That's another reason to get the mystery snails, because they come in such beautiful colors.
Absolutely. And I think before we go any further, we should mention that sometimes the best tank mates for your guppies are more guppies. They have a lot of color, tons of different colors, tons of fin varieties. You got the Dumbo ears, the standards, all the different tail fin varieties. If you are looking to add more color to your tank, sometimes adding more guppies is the way to go. Also keep in mind, if you're keeping both males and females, they're probably going to fill up your tank within about 6 to 8 months. So just remember that as you're thinking about tank mates for those guppies you've purchased.
Now, you just mentioned guppies to keep with guppies. If you do like the idea of live bearers, there are other live bearers that you can consider, like the Endler, which is kind of, I consider, a smaller version of the guppy. They are really fun to watch, a lot of color, and they also have really fun tails. And also, Platies offer a tremendous amount of color.
Both of them are relatively peaceful, good-natured, offer a lot of activity. The live bearers that I might stay away from that are sometimes combined with guppies, sometimes it works, but I have found that often these fish are a little bit too assertive, and that is, you've got your mollies and your swordtails, especially those male swordtails, and the mollies will sometimes chase your guppies around, fin nip the male guppies a little bit, and so we tend to not keep those combinations together. Some of you might have done that and worked out just fine. It hasn't worked out all that well for us. Now, besides the live bearers, you've got other types of smaller schooling fish that you can keep with your guppies. Some tetras that we have kept with guppies. You've got your black neon tetras. You've got your ember tetras, your gold tetras. Basically, the smaller types of tetras have worked just fine. Some of the others that are around the same size that haven't worked for us are your standard neons and your cardinals. And really, the only reason why is not so much personality. It's the fact that those the standard neons and the cardinals have preferred water that's a little bit softer with a little bit lower pH, and our guppies are kind of on the other side of that spectrum.
Now, if you like schooling fish that are really tiny, like I do, you may wonder, can I keep them with chili rasboras, mirror rasboras, dwarf rasboras, all those little super tiny guys? Yes. Yes, you can.
Absolutely. We have done those combinations before, but not only that, and I'm surprised you didn't mention this, but you got the green Kubotais. You've got the Galaxy Rasboras as well. Again, tons of species profiles in the description below on a lot of these fish that we're mentioning, but they can be a very striking addition to a guppy tank. Offer a little bit different behavior than your wild and crazy guppies that are going all over the place.
Now, for really active fish, what do you think about white clouds?
Well, sure, white clouds would work just fine. Personality-wise, they get along okay. The only thing that you'll have to consider is the temperature requirements. If you're getting close to the top end of the white cloud temperature range and the lower end of the guppy temperature range, somewhere in that 75 degrees or so, they can work out just fine. I think another one would be the cherry barbs. That's an interesting fish to add with your guppies. That's worked for us in the past as well. Now, we do have some centerpiece fish.
Ooh, yes.
One of which is my favorite, and that is the Peacock Gudgeon. They stay small. They offer a lot of color, very different type of personality. We've kept those together before. What else do we have?
Well, if you're talking centerpiece fish, some of my go-to favorites would be in the Gourami family, and those would be the honey Gourami, if you like really bright yellow or orange, and the sparkling Gourami.
Those are great fish to add. The Gouramis I would stay away from. A lot of people ask about the dwarf Gourami. That one is a little bit interesting. One, I wouldn't want to keep the dwarf Gourami in anything less than a 20 gallon. And two, I often recommend the dwarf Gourami as fry control for guppies. And it tends to do a fairly good job of eating guppy fry. Therefore, if you want to see your fry survive, I don't think I would add the dwarf Gourami. I would also be very careful. Sometimes the dwarf Gouramis, like the mollies, like the swordtails, they become a little bit more assertive, not necessarily super aggressive, but they might start to fin nip and chase guppies around. So if you're going to add the dwarf Gourami, just be careful and be aware that sometimes you have to have a backup plan. The larger Gouramis usually don't work, like your opalines, your blues, your golds. Those ones I would probably stay away from.
I have two more questions that we get asked a lot. First, can you keep bettas with guppies?
Bettas and guppies, maybe. Maybe it depends on the personality of the betta. Sometimes it works okay. Other times the betta becomes a little bit more assertive, a little bit more territorial, and those long fins that the males have, the guppy males have, sometimes get fin nipped. Sometimes they chase them around because the guppies really, the males with the larger fins sometimes aren't that fast, and it makes it a little bit easier for the bettas to catch up with them. So if you're going to keep that combination together, you're going to want to have a backup plan just in case that combo isn't working. I would say it works. A lot of people report, yeah, I did it. It worked just fine. Others, yeah, it was a nightmare. Yeah. Question number 2.
Shrimp.
Ooh, that's a good one. So shrimp. If we're going to do that, it would be the Neocaridina shrimp that will be able to deal with that pH that's a little bit on the higher side, the KH and GH that are a little bit on that higher side that the guppies would enjoy. Guppies will often leave the adult shrimp alone, but will usually find the little shrimplets, which are very, very tiny, and decide that they are a snack. So if you're going to keep that combo together, just know that you're probably not going to see a lot of shrimp offspring in your tank. So those were some combinations. Those are combinations that we've kept together and we've had success. We've left out a bunch of fish. I mean, we could make this video 45 minutes long. We could probably do 3 parts, and maybe some point in the future, if you want to see more options, let us know down in the comments section below. Would love to hear from you. What combos have you kept together that were successful? What size tank were you keeping them in? Really appreciate you being here, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.